Interesting day. It was warmer. It was windy. We're running about 10 to 15 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. That puts temperatures in the 40s, above 40 degrees for the first time since Thanksgiving. We're at 40 in Noblesville and in Indianapolis, 40 with increasing clouds in Crawfordsville. Clouds will continue to increase. We'll be in the range of 35 to 40 over the next several hours. And that's how we will start Wednesday, but it's going to be a wet start. Grab the umbrella. Rain to start. This actually arrives later this evening with some of the steadier rain falling overnight into the early part of our Wednesday. The wet roads have an impact on the Wednesday morning drive, and then the change over to snow. More on that in the timeline in a few minutes.
All right, Angela, thanks so much. And now to an update on a developing story for you. It was just in the last hour now that we've learned new details about that officer-involved shooting that went down in Morgan County. In the end, there was a K-9 officer and a suspect injured. It all started from an alleged break-in that we brought you here as breaking news yesterday.
Jenna Webster spent the day near Martinsville and talked to a neighbor who says she overheard the whole thing happen.
Now, this area of Belt Lane where this officer-involved shooting happened Monday afternoon with the Morgan County Sheriff's Department really is a very quiet area. I talked to one woman who lives down the hill who says you just don't really think of a break-in happening in these homes. She says she was sitting outside Monday afternoon when she heard deputies yelling for someone to come outside and threatening to release a dog. That's when she says she heard gunshots. On Tuesday morning, crime scene tape, the only clear sign of what happened the day before. We could not see an obvious area where someone tried to break into the Belt Lane home. Morgan County Sheriff Richard Myers now says the suspect is in stable condition and still at the hospital. Bullet, the K-9 officer the man allegedly hit several times over the head, is still at a Carmel vet and undergoing more scans Tuesday, but responding well to treatment. We know now when the suspect was standing in the doorway, he allegedly reached back inside and pulled out a 4-foot-long tree lopper and used the tool to hit Bullet. Sheriff Myers says 2 deputies fired lethal and non-lethal shots as well as beanbag shots. It's unclear how many times the suspect was hit. Those 2 deputies are now on administrative leave, which is department protocol during an officer-involved shooting. Morgan County Major Crimes Task Force is still investigating, and the sheriff says the prosecutor's office will determine what criminal charges will be filed after reviewing the case. In Martinsville, Jenna Webster, 13 News.
And the sheriff's office has not released the name of the man shot. The sheriff does say the man did not have a gun when deputies shot him.
Tonight, we're learning Indianapolis City County Council President Bob Osley will not seek re-election as council president. He's a Democrat, and he says he'll remain on the council while he considers next steps, issuing a statement saying his time as president was, quote, one of the greatest honors of my life. He went on to say, stepping back from the presidency allows me to focus my energy where it's most needed and continue serving our city with the same commitment that has guided my work from the beginning. A new proposed map of Indiana's congressional districts now moving forward at the Indiana State House after passing out of the Senate's Elections Committee.
Tomorrow, senators will get the chance to offer changes to the bill and then vote on them. Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker is here with a look at what could come up in their discussion.
Well, Senate Democrats on the Elections Committee offered proposed changes last night. None of them passed, and they tell me they plan to offer more amendments to the full Senate tomorrow. One concern that's come up repeatedly among Democratic lawmakers is whether this proposed map weakens the vote of Black and brown Hoosiers. It's the same question Senate Democrats asked last night in committee after hearing from close to 130 Hoosiers in public testimony. Some who raised the same concerns about the proposed map dividing Marion County into 4 different congressional districts. The bill's author, Republican State Representative Ben Smaltz, has said the only thing considered when drawing the proposed map was giving Republicans political advantage, something Democratic State Senator Fatty Codora questioned the bill's sponsor in the Senate about in committee.
Isn't the fact that not using racial data is a violation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act because you must maintain communities of interest?
I believe, as you know, I'm not a lawyer, but I believe that this map complies with the Voting Rights Act.
The Voting Rights Act is a law that protects people from being treated unfairly in voting because of their race. Under the law, when voting maps are drawn, districts cannot be shaped in a way that weakens someone's voting power just because of race. But the president and CEO of the Indianapolis Urban League says the proposed map does, with its division of Marion County.
That split clearly would totally dissolve the voting voice and the voting power of the urban community here in Indianapolis.
CEO Tony Mason also believes the new map seeks to eliminate Democratic Congressman Andre Carson from office. Carson is the only black representative from Indiana.
You can't tell me that it's just for political reasons. History says that it's not.
Carson spoke about the proposed map on CNN This Morning with Audie Cornish.
And the district lines run directly through black neighborhoods. This is wholly unacceptable.
So it's likely that we will hear some debate and arguments from Senate Democrats around the Voting Rights Act when this bill goes before the full Senate tomorrow. A final vote is expected on Thursday at the Indiana State House. Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
State senators are also taking on some other important issues during this early start to the 2026 legislative session at the State House. In fact, it was earlier today that State Senator Liz Brown, a Republican from northeastern Indiana up in Allen County, spoke with members of the media about her Immigration Enforcement Act. She says every single issue that's been a concern with her constituents is covered in this.
The biggest thing is making sure that we didn't grow government, and that the power isn't centered in one agency or individual, that those agencies and individuals, or our sheriffs, for example, not only have the ability to carry out these laws, but the training that they need.
State Senator Brown says the scope of the bill clarifies the sanctuary city campus ban, as well as a $10,000 fine if it's not enforced. There'll also be certain procedures that local law enforcement will also need to follow.
Tonight, Martin University, the state's only predominantly black institution of higher ed, is preparing to close its doors to students.
We're told the university will pause operations at the end of this semester. Our Matthew Foltz spent today looking into this, trying to get answers to the questions that you're asking about what is the impact of this pause.
Right now, many community members, city leaders, and even alumni of Martin University say they're shocked and even frustrated after hearing today's announcement. And right now, the biggest question lies into what's ahead for the future of Martin University.
Now, the Board of Trustees for the university ultimately decided to end classes on the campus following this semester. They say it was because of financial and student enrollment challenges. According to the university's website, since 1977, about 1,500 students have graduated from the university. I spoke with one former graduate about the sudden news.
So it's frustrating knowing that, especially within our communities, there are so few black-led institutions, black-owned institutions, black-built institutions.
Now, Councilman Ron Gibson, who represents District 8, also released a statement saying that he will do whatever he can to support the university and its future. Meanwhile, I did reach out to university leaders to see what now happens for students who may have been graduating next semester as well as seeking that 4-year degree, but have yet to hear back. Reporting here in Indy, I'm Matthew Foltz, 13 News.
All right, Matthew, and the Martin University Alumni Association shared this statement with us saying, this quote feels unsettling, and for many of us, it stirs up deep concern. You can read the full statement along with others from leaders across the city and state right now on our website at WTHR.com.